All right. Wanted to talk about Dune, 1984. David Lynch's infamous film. And everybody hates this movie, except for me. I'm going to defend it. This is an unpopular opinion. I like Dune. I'm one of the few people that actually likes this film. Of course, probably because I am a kid that grew up in the 1980s and it was on all the time. I think it was on WGN Chicago a lot. You know, they play it like during rain delays for Cubs baseball games. Back in Harry Carey. Wow, he hit that one out of the ballpark, you know. Singer, completely hammered, take me out to the ball game. Oh. Anyways, great movie, in my opinion. I like it. I'm gonna say right now that the cast for the film is incredible. You know, Kyle MacLachlan, maybe he's not like great in this, but I sure like him a heck of a lot more than Timothée Chalamet. Sean Young, she's coming off of Blade Runner, probably the biggest science fiction film of the 1980s. This had Sting at the height of his popularity. I'll kill you! I will kill you! Boy, I don't know, man. Francesca Annis is the Lady Jessica. She is absolutely incredible in that role. Freddie Jones is Thufir Hawat. They were both coming off of Kroll. Remember Kroll with the glaive? That movie that came out in '83 that everybody just absolutely hates. Hey, I like that one too. I like crappy movies from the '80s. At least I admit it. At least I'll admit that they're crap. But you know what? They're entertaining. Oh boy, Max von Sydow's in this. And I think for the first half of this film, okay, this is a pretty good adaptation. It really is. Now, the weirding weapons were not in the book. That's completely put in, but that's because David Lynch said he didn't want people doing kung fu on sand dunes. So he introduced that. And then, of course, the ending of this film is completely wrong and completely undermines the whole point of the book, because this was supposed to be speaking against following messianic leaders, you know, charismatic leaders. And in this, they literally turned Paul into a god at the end when he makes it rain. That does not happen in the novel. So I understand the shortcomings of the film. And I get it. And I know why Dune fans hate the movie. But this really has an old school Hollywood feel to it. What I mean by that is the budget, the production, okay, the costumes, the sets, the location shooting. There's just a lot of stylistic choices in this that really work for me. Now, a lot of people don't like the Harkonnen stuff. I get it. He's got pussy boils and it's gross, and you know, we've got Thufir Hawat milking a cat, for crying out loud. Like, what's with the cat with the mouse or the rat duct taped to it? Literally with a piece of duct tape, but he's got to milk the cat. I don't know what that is. That's what you're going to get in weird David Lynch stuff. You got battle pugs, right? The pug that's sticking out of Patrick Stewart's jacket when they're in the big battle sequence. You know, Fonduk Leto! When he's charging with the pug sticking out of his shirt, and you're like, what? But I think it's those little moments in this that I really like. And the Spice Guild Navigator, when they bring it in the tank, looks amazing. It's incredible. The soundtrack by this, I'm sorry, Denis Villeneuve, you know, but you got Hans Zimmer, the most overrated composer in Hollywood today. I think that the score from Dune 84 with Toto and Brian Eno's theme, the prophecy theme, blows Denis, not Denny, I'm sorry, Hans Booby, blows him out of the water. By the way, that was a Die Hard reference. This is the 40th anniversary of this film this year, and it's going to be playing in theaters, Fathom Events, I think next week or 2 weeks from now, and it is playing locally where I'm at. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go, and it bums me out. I really want to go watch it on the big screen. I've never seen it, and it's probably like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me. So check that out, because it's playing like February, I don't know the date, 16th? I think it's the 15th and 16th. It's like a Sunday and a Monday. This year, 2024. And the next month, we've got the release of Dune Part 2, which I will be going to watch and screen. I'm going to rewatch Dune Part 1 to see if my opinion of it improves at all. But my heart really belongs to this film. And when I watch Dune, or when I read Dune, the visuals that I picture of this, I know the end of the movie's wrong. They're firing lasers, for crying out loud. I get it. I understand. I know why people hate it. But man, I mean, I don't know. This movie just captured my imagination as a child. When I saw this as a kid, you know, when it would show on television, it was on a lot. It both horrified me with all the Harkonnen stuff, with the Baron just going full over-the-top cheese. You know, he who controls the spice controls the universe. I mean, it was great. Flying around, you know that line at the end where the Emperor Shaddam, the guy that played the Emperor, was great. I don't know how Christopher Walken is going to do it. The Christopher Walken as Emperor Shaddam IV? That's not a choice I would have went for. Hey, I need the spice. I mean, maybe he'll be okay. I don't know. I got a fever. A fever for more spice. But we'll see. I don't know what to say, man. I don't know how to even defend this. I don't care. I don't care. I unironically love this movie. Yes, I know it's terrible. It's objectively terrible in the second half. But I think everything that happens up to the point where the Harkonnens attack, all right, when you've got the whole Duke Leto and Dr. Yue and all that stuff's going down, and then the Harkonnens attack, I think everything up to that point is pretty good. And then, yes, the movie completely falls apart in the second half. But despite all of that, I have to agree that with Harlan Ellison, that this is a movie they shouldn't have been made. It's an unfilmable movie, and they made it. And I absolutely applaud it for its ambition. Look, sometimes you swing for the fences, right? Like, David Lynch went for it. He took a big old swing. And he didn't hit a home run. He struck out at the plate. He hates this film. He doesn't want to talk about it. Anytime it's brought up, he doesn't want to talk about Dune. But it was made. And here it is. And Frank Herbert was on set for this. He was alive. He was involved in it. He had creative input into it. This movie was so crazy that they had to release like a glossary of terms to people to hand out at the theater. You know you're in trouble if you're handing out like a glossary of terms so that people can understand what they're watching. But despite all that, I still absolutely love this film for how ambitious it is. Yeah, there's a lot of nostalgia talking here. Okay? 80s kid. I'm not going to deny it. Soundtrack by Toto. Sting's in it. You know, I mean, bring in that floating fat man. Movie captured the imagination. And it's got one of the iconic lines that's not in the book. Father! The sleeper has awakened! That's all I have to say about it. I'm going to go watch part 2. I'm going to rewatch part 1. Then I'll go to the theater and rewatch part 2. But I just wanted to talk about this movie. There is a 3-hour cut of this that was a fan cut, which is called the Spice Diver cut. And somebody out of a labor of love put it together. It puts a bunch of material back into it that was cut from the film and left on the cutting room floor, because originally David Lynch wanted this to be like a 4-hour movie. And they said, no way. So they cut it down. And that's why the first half of this movie seems like a regular movie. And then the second half, it's like somebody took a bunch of spice and just put the pedal to the metal and the movie goes bananas. Because they're trying to cram 2/3 of a book into 40 minutes. And they took some liberties with it. But Dune 1984. Unpopular opinion. I like this movie. I know it's a hot mess. But I applaud it for its ambition. For the fact that this thing even got made. People laugh at it now and say, oh, the CG effects in it don't hold up. You know, the suits. That wasn't CG. They animated that. That was like hand-drawn animation. They didn't have CG effects. They had to rotoscope, go in and color everybody's eyes blue. So there was a lot of craft that went into this. And I think it's great. So Hans Zimmer's score, I think, pales in comparison. So I'll play like the opening theme here. Because I think that this theme is incredible for the film. And if anything else, the movie's got an incredible score. This opens up with the Virginia Madsen, the beautiful Virginia Madsen. Wow, she was a very attractive lady. She fades in with that whole monologue that she gives at the beginning of the film to explain to you about the spice. What does she say? It is the year 10191. She talks about the spice melange, like the spice expands consciousness. And you can only find it on one planet, Arrakis, Dune. She fades out. It's like, why does she fade out? She's like, oh, and one more thing. And then she fades back in. I'm like, that is objectively terrible that she fades out, that she fades back in. But I don't care. It's so cheesy. I love it. But I mean, like, I'll take this score over Hans Zimmer's score for Dune Part 1 any day of the week. Because it's an incredible score. In fact, I might buy the score. Because I love the score. And I think that the worms, right? The sandworms in this movie, they look great. That theme is awesome. Am I wrong? I mean, that theme is great. Let's do a comparison real quick and listen to Hans Zimmer's score. Right, this is why I hate this movie. No. That is all the way through the film. think the dude won an award for this. I just don't. It just. Wow. Yeah. Not a fan of this. Not a fan of this. Okay. That's all I gotta say. And go back to the whole. This is Dune 84. You gonna tell me that Hans Zimmer's better than this? No way. I dig this, man. Alright, anyways, this is my rambly love letter to Dune 1984. Go ahead and destroy me and tell me that I'm weak sauce. That I'm wrong. I don't care. Love this movie. Thanks for watching. And remember, the spice must flow.